Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, the weight of your thoughts pressing down like bricks on your chest. You've tried everything: positive thinking, meditation apps, distraction, even scrolling endlessly through social media, but nothing silences the storm inside. You wish there was someone who could just sit beside you, help you untangle the chaos in your head, and gently guide you back to peace. But what if that person could be you? What if, hidden within you, there was a therapist, not trained by textbooks or certificates, but shaped by experience, compassion, and a deep desire to feel better? This is what How to Be Your Own Therapist is about. Welcome, my friend, to a journey of self-healing. Not through lofty promises or quick fixes, but through practical, science-backed techniques that fit into the reality of your life, even if you only have 10 minutes a day. In this audiobook-style summary, we'll walk hand in hand through the powerful insights shared by world-renowned psychotherapist Owen O'Kane, someone who has worked in the frontline trenches of human pain, and who believes that healing doesn't always need a couch and a stranger with a clipboard. Sometimes, it just needs you, willing to listen to yourself even for a few precious minutes. We'll explore the emotional tools that help you understand your patterns, calm your anxiety, and face life with steadier eyes. You'll learn how to stop being at war with your own mind, and start becoming your own greatest source of peace. But before we dive deep, let's meet the man behind this book. Who is Owen O'Kane? And why should you listen to him? Owen O'Kane is no stranger to pain. He grew up in a conflict-torn Northern Ireland during the Troubles, surrounded by violence, trauma, and mental health stigma. Before becoming a therapist, he worked as a palliative care specialist, sitting with people in their final days, people who weren't worried about achievements or fame, but who just wanted peace in their minds and hearts before they said goodbye to life. This experience shaped Owen's understanding of what really matters in the end, and it wasn't perfection. It wasn't pretending to be okay. It was the courage to feel, the desire to be seen, and the small, powerful moments of clarity that make us fully human. Later, he became one of the UK's leading psychotherapists, spending over 25 years working in the NHS, treating everything from anxiety to depression, grief, trauma, and the everyday burdens we all silently carry. And the one thing he noticed across all these patients? Most people aren't broken. They're just overwhelmed, and with the right tools they can learn to help themselves. That's why Owen wrote How to Be Your Own Therapist, not as a replacement for therapy but as a powerful starting point. A daily guidebook for those moments when you don't have access to a professional, or when you just want to understand yourself a little better with compassion. This book isn't about becoming some perfect version of you. It's about learning how to pause, breathe, listen, and support yourself, one day, one moment at a time. And maybe, just maybe, learning to become your own best friend. Let's know what you'll learn in this summary. Over the next chapters, we'll explore the simple 10-minute rituals that can shift your mental state, how to stop letting anxiety run the show, why understanding your inner narrative is key to change, tools for emotional steadiness in the middle of chaos, how to show up for yourself with courage even when life feels like too much. So take a deep breath. You're not alone anymore, and you're not powerless either. Let's begin. Let's be honest. When life feels overwhelming, when your emotions pull you in every direction, and when your mind won't stop racing, it's easy to believe that something is wrong with you. We often think we're weak for feeling anxious, or dramatic for needing help, or broken because we can't just snap out of it. But here's a truth that Owen O'Kane wants you to know, and it might just change the way you see yourself. You're not broken. You're just human. Every thought you've had, every emotion you've tried to bury, every time your heart beat faster for no reason, or your chest felt tight even in the quiet, it's not madness. It's not failure. It's your mind desperately trying to protect you. And sometimes the most powerful therapist in the room isn't someone with a clipboard. It's the you who finally stops to listen. So, what does it really mean to be your own therapist? Owen doesn't suggest that professional therapy is unnecessary. In fact, he deeply respects and has spent decades practicing it. But he also knows that therapy isn't always accessible or immediate. Some of us don't have the time. Others don't have the financial means. And for many, asking for help feels scary or shameful. So what if you had a method, a structure, that didn't require appointments but still gave you support? That's where the heart of this book lies. Being your own therapist means learning to understand your thoughts instead of fearing them. Tune into what's really going on beneath your surface. Soothe your nervous system before it spirals. And develop tools to gently guide yourself back when you feel lost. It doesn't mean you never need help. It doesn't mean you have all the answers. It simply means you learn how to hold space for yourself. And you start with just 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes. Sounds too small, too simple. But let's break it down. Every day we brush our teeth. We scroll, we check emails. Yet most of us spend zero time checking in with our emotions. And as a result, we walk around like pressure cookers, holding in stress, fear, anger, grief, until something explodes. What Owen teaches is this. If you could take just 10 intentional minutes each day to acknowledge, soothe, and realign your thoughts, you'd not only feel better, you'd become stronger. Not because the chaos disappears, but because you learn how to stay steady within it. These 10 minutes are not about empty rituals or forced positivity. They're about showing up for yourself with honesty. And when done daily, these moments become a habit, a practice, a lifeline. Before jumping into techniques, Owen invites us to understand the basics of how our emotional mind works. You see, most of our struggles don't come from what's happening outside us. They come from the story we tell ourselves about it. Imagine this. You're walking down the street and someone ignores you. One person thinks, "Oh, they must be busy." Another thinks, "What did I do wrong? They hate me." Same event, different thought, completely different emotional reaction. This is the core of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, one of the psychological models Owen uses. It teaches us that our thoughts affect our feelings affect our actions, and our actions reinforce our beliefs. So, if you can start observing your thoughts, even just a few each day, you start to reclaim control. You stop reacting blindly. You start responding mindfully. And that, right there, is the first step to becoming your own therapist. This book isn't about being perfect. In fact, one of Owen's most important lessons is this. Stop waiting for the day you'll feel ready to heal. Just begin. Even messily. Even unsure. Even afraid. Being your own therapist doesn't require you to know everything. It just asks you to become curious, to stay open, to stop judging your pain and start understanding it. Because when you shift from fighting yourself to listening to yourself, that's where real change begins. Coming up next in next part, we'll dive into the 10-minute practice that this book is famous for. You'll learn how to structure your day with small, powerful check-ins that can reduce anxiety, calm your nervous system, and help you feel emotionally grounded without hours of meditation or deep therapy work. The 10-minute daily practice, your mental reset button. Let's be real for a second. If someone told you to spend an hour each day doing emotional self-work, you'd probably roll your eyes, right? We're busy. We're exhausted. We barely have time to breathe. That's exactly why Owen O'Kane created something that works, not just in theory but in the middle of real life. A 10-minute daily practice. Simple. Repeatable. Grounding. Not a chore. Not therapy homework. Just a moment to check in, reset, and return to yourself. Morning, set the emotional tone. Your first check-in happens early, before your day hijacks your mood. In just a few minutes, Owen suggests asking yourself, what am I feeling right now? What do I need today? What's one thing I can focus on to support my mind? It's not about solving every problem. It's about starting your day aware instead of reactive. Even just a deep breath and a kind word to yourself, "I'm doing my best," can change the way you carry your day. Midday, steady yourself. This is your emotional recalibration point. Maybe the day threw something at you, a tense conversation, a wave of doubt, unexpected stress. You pause. You breathe. You ask, where is my mind right now? What am I reacting to? Then instead of spiraling, you re-anchor. A grounding technique, a quick breathing exercise, a gentle self-reminder, it's okay. I can handle this. That's the power of interrupting autopilot. Night, reflect and reset. Evening is not for replaying regrets. It's for releasing. You sit for a few moments and reflect. What did I do well today? What challenged me? What can I let go of before sleep? This isn't about perfection, it's about closure. Acknowledge, appreciate, let go. You don't carry the emotional load of today into tomorrow. Many tools for any time. Alongside these check-ins, Owen offers small, emotional tools to use when you need support. Box breathing to calm anxiety, and naming the emotion to reduce its power. A journaling prompts to process recurring thoughts. A self-compassion statements like, "This is tough, but I'm here for myself." Each tool is simple, but together they build emotional strength. You see, therapy isn't always about deep dives and painful memories. Sometimes it's about showing up consistently, gently, day by day. Just 10 minutes. That's all it takes to begin. Are you ready for next part, where we'll look at real-life transformations and how people use these tools to reclaim their peace? Shall we continue? Let's meet someone like you. Her name is Sarah, mid-30s, working full-time, juggling kids, aging parents, and a mind that just never shuts off. She wasn't in crisis exactly, but she was tired, mentally worn out, anxious all the time, and constantly feeling like she was failing. One day she came across a quote, "Don't wait until you break. Start listening now." It led her to Owen's work, and that was the beginning of a quiet transformation. Sarah didn't book a month-long retreat. She didn't quit her job or escape her life. She just started showing up for herself, 10 minutes at a time. What changed? Each morning, instead of reaching for her phone, she asked herself, "What's taking up space in my mind today?" Some days the answer was simple, "I'm tired." Other days it was heavy, "I feel invisible." But just naming it changed everything. It made her feel seen by herself. Midday, when work got overwhelming, she'd step away, breathe deeply for a minute, and say, "I can handle this moment." At night, she wrote down one thing she did well, even if it was just surviving the day. And slowly, her anxiety softened, her guilt quieted, her self-worth started to return. Another story, David and his racing thoughts. David, a teacher in his early 40s, had struggled with overthinking for years. What if I fail? What if I let someone down? What if I'm just not good enough? The thoughts never stopped. But when he learned Owen's thought interrogation technique, a simple tool to challenge your mental narrative, he had a breakthrough. He began to ask himself, "Is this thought true, or just loud?" Over time, he stopped believing every anxious whisper in his head. He didn't eliminate the thoughts. He just stopped giving them all the power. Why these stories matter? Because they're not extreme. They're not dramatic. They're real. And they prove something powerful. You don't need to change your entire life to feel better. You just need to change how you show up in it. With curiosity, with kindness, with consistency. Next, we'll uncover the psychological science behind Owen's approach. Why these 10-minute rituals are more than just feel-good habits. Why it works, the psychology behind the practice. You might wonder, can something as simple as 10 minutes of reflection really change your mental health? Science says yes, absolutely. Because beneath every thought you think, every feeling you carry, and every habit you repeat, there's a system. And once you learn how it works, you can begin to rewire it. Let's break it down. 1. The brain is changeable. For years, people believed that your brain was fixed, that your mental patterns were hardwired and unchangeable. But neuroscience has flipped that idea on its head. Neuroplasticity tells us that the brain can be reshaped by repeated experiences. Every time you pause to breathe instead of panic, every time you challenge a negative thought instead of believing it, every time you respond kindly to yourself instead of harshly, you're creating a new mental pathway, a stronger, healthier one. And over time, those small moments add up to real change. 2. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy in action. At the core of Owen's method is CBT, one of the most effective, evidence-based therapies in the world. CBT teaches us, thoughts affect emotions, emotions drive behavior, and behavior reinforces belief. So when you use Owen's daily thought check-ins to interrupt negative thinking patterns, you're not just calming yourself in the moment. You're actually breaking the cycle that keeps anxiety, self-doubt, or stress in motion. And guess what? You don't need years of therapy to do this. You just need awareness and consistency. 3. Mindfulness and the nervous system. Another key principle? Mindfulness. When you take even one mindful breath, slow, steady, conscious, you send a message to your nervous system. I'm safe. I don't have to be in fight or flight right now. Owen's practice blends mindfulness with grounded therapy tools. The result? Less chaos in the body, more calm in the mind. And the best part? It's portable. You don't need a quiet room, a yoga mat, or perfect circumstances. You just need you. 4. The role of self-compassion. We often think healing means fixing ourselves. But Owen flips that belief on its head. He says, you don't need fixing. You need understanding. When you respond to your pain with gentleness instead of judgment, your brain begins to trust you. Your inner critic softens, and space opens up for healing. Compassion is not weakness. It's one of the strongest forces for change. So yes, this 10-minute practice isn't just comforting. It's scientifically sound. It rewires, it regulates, it restores, and it reminds you, you're not powerless in the face of your mind. You're the one holding the reins. Now we'll talk about obstacles. What gets in the way of doing this work and how to stay consistent even on hard days. Common obstacles and how to stay consistent. Let's be real for a moment. Knowing what to do is easy. Actually doing it every day? That's the hard part. And Owen gets that. He knows that life gets messy. You wake up late. You're overwhelmed. You forget. Or worse, you think, what's the point? I'll never get better anyway. But here's the truth he gently reminds us of. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Let's walk through some of the most common mental roadblocks and how to handle them with grace. Obstacle 1, I don't have time. It's the most common excuse. But what we really mean is, I haven't made it a priority yet. Owen suggests, pair your 10-minute check-in with an existing habit. Brushing your teeth, making tea, commuting. Use voice notes or short journaling on your phone if you're on the go. Even a 90-second pause can reset your nervous system. Remember, this isn't about adding pressure. It's about creating space, not stealing time. Obstacle 2, it feels silly or pointless. Many people feel awkward talking to themselves, breathing deeply, or writing down thoughts. But here's the question. Would you feel silly brushing your teeth? No, because it's hygiene. This is mental hygiene. It's not about instant results. It's about long-term emotional strength. And like any habit, it only feels awkward until it feels natural. Obstacle 3, the perfection trap. Maybe you miss a day or two, and suddenly you think, I've failed. Why bother? This is where compassion matters most. Owen says, missing a day doesn't erase your progress. Starting again is part of the process. Healing isn't a straight line. It's messy, human, beautiful. So when you slip up, smile, breathe, begin again. That is the work. Obstacle 4, my mind is too loud. You sit down to reflect and the noise gets louder. Worries, regrets, self-doubt. It's okay. That noise was always there, you're just finally listening. Don't try to fight it. Just observe. Label it. Say, this is anxiety. This is fear. And then gently ask, what do I need right now? That soft question can change everything. Let's learn how to stay consistent. Owen recommends, set a small anchor habit, a daily action that reminds you to check in. Keep a gentle journal, not to impress, but to understand. And most importantly, celebrate effort, not outcome. If you showed up for yourself today, even for 1 minute, you've already won. So here we are. You've walked through the heart of this book. You've explored the tools, the science, the stories, the practice. But if there's one message Owen O'Kane wants you to carry in your heart, it's this. You are not broken. You are becoming. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to erase your pain or hide your struggle. You simply need to hear yourself, maybe for the first time in a long time. Because beneath the noise of your anxiety, beneath the guilt and overthinking and pressure to be everything, you are still you, still whole, still worthy. still capable of healing. And that healing? It doesn't require a grand transformation. It begins with the smallest act, showing up for yourself. 10 minutes at a time. Let's recap what you've learned. You've learned that your thoughts don't define you, but they do shape your emotions. You've discovered the power of checking in daily, morning, midday, and night to create emotional steadiness. You've seen how CBT and mindfulness tools help you rewire how you respond to life. You've explored real stories that show healing is possible, even in chaos. And you've faced the common roadblocks, and now know how to meet them with compassion. You've learned that therapy isn't just a room, it's a relationship. And you can build that relationship with yourself. Final words from Owen. In the final pages of his book, Owen O'Kane writes something simple but powerful. You don't need to wait for someone else to help you feel safe, steady, or seen. You can offer that to yourself. Right now. Just as you are. You don't have to wait for rock bottom. You don't need to fix everything before you start. You just need one quiet moment to say, "Hey, how am I really doing?" And then, listen. That's where healing begins. So wherever you are, whether you're walking through a tough season or just trying to stay afloat, thank you for taking this time. For showing up. For listening. For being there for yourself. We hope this summary of how to be your own therapist gave you more than information. It gave you comfort and a path forward. And now the invitation is yours. To breathe. To notice. To begin again. To become your own greatest support. You are enough. And you are not alone. If this summary touched your heart or helped you in any way, please don't forget to like, share this with someone who might need it, and subscribe to the channel for more heartfelt book journeys like this one. Your support truly means the world. Thank you.